Hey guys, welcome
Hello.
back to the EYP podcast. This week on today's episode, we are talking about the 3 tips to help cultivate real relationships in the arts and entertainment business.
We're going to make sure they know you, they like you, and on all that, they're going to trust you. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome back. Hello and welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello and welcome back to the Engage Your Passion podcast.
It's time to engage your passion.
Hello, and welcome back to the Engage Your Passion podcast, or we like to say, the EYP podcast. I am Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And together we are Tony and Sarah. Well, welcome back, everyone. Exciting to be in the midst of season 2.
Yeah.
Had a great interview a couple weeks ago, and then now just kind of pushing into kind of hyping up your branding and how to get yourself out there, and we're getting great feedback. So just kind of always want to say thank you.
Yeah.
And I think what we can do moving forward is just, if you guys comment or like or something like that, we'd like to feature you on the podcast and just kind of give you a shout out.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a Q&A soon.
Okay,
So
yeah.
we'll definitely look out on our social for that. So any questions that you may have, we can talk about them here and get your answers. No, your questions
Get your
answered.
questions answered, right?
Need to learn to talk.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, because we do have some new listeners and people have reached out. So we wanted to talk a little bit before we get into our topic
Today's
for the
topic
day
today, yeah.
about what the EYP podcast is and what we started, just because some people haven't gotten all the way back to season 1. They're going in reverse order.
Right.
So we have been educators. We were also professional performers in the entertainment industry. And
Right.
we own our own entertainment business. And we found that, yes, we can learn people. We can teach people how to do the steps or how to sing and get the skills. But it's that transition from doing that to becoming a professional or at the collegiate level that where we kept getting questions.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, as educators, we both have, we've owned, managed and owned 12 dance studios. We own a media company. We own a branding service. So, with that, as far as the educational side, that's pretty much a no-brainer. Go, if you want to dance, learn how to dance. If you want to sing, learn how to sing. Act, so on and so forth. Modeling, all that. But going from the educational aspect to the pre-professional and professional, there was more to it than just learning your skill. It was about how to brand and how to find representation and how to reach out. And we had so many questions so often for years that actually I think I'm the one who pushed back on actually doing it as a service forever, because I was focused on other things. And now it's to the point where, okay, guys out there, when the wife is right, the wife is right. And so, push it out there and offer it as a service. And now we're really helping a lot. In fact, we were participants in a virtual conference, 4,000 people online, about, education and getting into the professional industry. And we taught this class, and it was just, hundreds of people were in the, just over 100 couple people were in our workshops and getting feedback. And in fact, we went 90 minutes and had to cut everybody off. Yeah. So, and they were still asking questions. So the fact that that we're at least realizing that this is still an option and still a resource, and we're getting feedback, we just wanted to offer that.
So our access division, many people in the entertainment, they or wanting to be in the entertainment industry don't realize that becoming a personal brand is actually going to help you. And so our Access division of their company is what kind of helps teach.
Our personal, it teaches personal branding. Yeah, personal brand.
Personal brand for the up and comers and even some of the established people. And so our podcast is really kind of a free resource for you guys to be able to try to start implementing some of our tips.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is for parents, directors, and students. And then we've had a number of established artists take the tips that we've had from the Access division, which is obviously giving, well, not obviously, but it's our way of saying access to the industry. This is how you can get into the, and, and kind of, what do you call it? Step away or avoid the pitfalls that come with that, because some people had to learn the hard way. Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
But that's what Access is about, and that's what this Engage Your Passion podcast is about. And the great news is we're getting new followers and people who are subscribing every day, and we just wanted to kind of keep everybody up to just up to par with what we're doing and while we're staying focused on providing these services.
Yeah, as you can tell, it's one of our passions. We could probably talk about it all day, but let's get into our topic.
Okay, well, welcome to Season 2, Episode 4. And today we're talking about relationships and how to, how to cultivate real relationships as opposed to just relationships that you're cultivating because you're trying to get to the next level. We have found out the hard way, being friends with somebody because you want something, not the right, let's put it this way, people do it, but it's not necessarily a long-lasting type of relationship that is going to actually be there for years and years to come. It does work, but the longevity is not. The longevity is not long. So.
And these I think we're gonna gear, because we've got a challenge going on right now.
Right.
So we're gonna gear these more towards your online presence, but everything that we're gonna talk about can actually work face to face, in person,
Correct.
any type of thing. So it's just knowing how to implement that in your daily life when you're just talking to people. And it's really not just the arts and entertainment industry.
Right.
That's just what we tend to gear.
That's where we focus. That's where our focus is. But we found people coming to the site. In fact, even some of the comments was, hey, thanks for talking about the arts and entertainment industry, but I can use this in my industry.
Yeah.
So it is kind of across the board, but with our focus there, that's kind of what we use as the example or the benchmark moving forward.
Yeah. So number one is they have to know you. They have to learn about you, and you have to kind of pique some interest in them. So I find that telling stories and telling stories in a way where people can learn engage from your lesson. I
think storytelling is the key. I mean, arts and entertainment is basically that. We're storytelling. If it's film, TV, movies, YouTube channels, everyone in some way or form in the arts and entertainment we're telling stories. So being able to tell a good story and telling your story is really good way to attract people who can relate to you, who want to relate to you, who want the information, who want that education, who are interested in that topic. So just kind of letting them know that, well, I guess one, that you're out there and you have the information. To digress a little bit, one of the things, like you mentioned, the challenge, and it's the Access Community Growth Challenge. And what we're asking our listeners and our clients to do, outside of anything, it's a free opportunity to kind of test our resources, and this is one of them. The challenge is to grow your community engagement by 100 people in the next month and a half. And so with that, it's just using these 5 tips and 3, categories One is know, like, and trust, and we're going to go through the other ones, and then we're going to kind of give you tips on how to do that and see if it works. And if it does, we'll give you a cool prize at the end. So,
so let's go.
Let's go back.
Can we go back?
Yeah, okay. I digress. Sorry.
It's okay.
So we talked about know, and how about knowing people and storytelling? In other words, tell your story. And one thing that I find is some people tend to shy away of putting themselves out there. One of the things we have found that works is just tell your story or tell a portion of your story. Because it's going to be honest, it's going to be true. There's usually going to be some type of learning curve. There's going to be a challenge in there. And then at the end, what you learned from it and how you're moving forward. That right there is just telling your story and your experience.
So when you're creating content and you're telling a story, I call them the 3 F's. When you put a story together is, what did you feel? What did you feel? What did you find? Now I can't think of it.
Oh.
Feel, felt, found.
Right.
Feel, felt, and found. So what were you feeling? What did you
feel? Yeah. And then what new education, what found?
Yeah,
what did you find?
What did you find? I guess feel and felt are 2 different things. But it's more like realizing what you were feeling. Does that make sense? I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling.
Well, the 3 F's. Let's try that again. So the 3 F's, you have something that is that kind of relates to, that kind of helps people find their stories and when they're storytelling. You said the 3 F's, and what are those?
Feel, felt, found.
So kind of what you feel.
Realizing what you were feeling.
And
what you found.
And what you found out of that story. What was a new revelation or something out of the story.
And just finding those parts of your story. We've talked a lot about your why, and being able to put that out there. How did you figure out your why? And wrapping those around the 3 F's really helps people know who you are and kind of know why you do what you do. So if you are talking about why are you working out? Well, you have to stay in shape to be a performer. And so, and that's what you really want to go after. So yes, we're in quarantine, but when all this is lifted and auditions are happening again, I need to be in good shape to go, So being able to talk about those things, and then people understand where you're coming from.
You just have a perspective of in your point of view.
Yes.
And one of the things that with the know aspect of this is how, the next question is, okay, how? So we talked about, and this is something I'll leave for, going back and finding the other podcasts, and we'll review it, but finding your why, like what is your why? And then what is your what? Your why is usually what your mission, your life presence, your, what is kind of instilled in you to do, and what is how you're going to do it. Filmmaker, dancer, singer. And then what we're trying to do is give you some how, which is so if we're basically trying to get to know, the know aspect and reach out to a community and build storytelling. And one of the things we say is create content. So, and that can be anything from artistic, graphic, digital, audio, video. If you're an artist, drawing pictures. If you're a singer, singing on, putting yourself out there vocally. If you're a dancer, doing that as well. Acting, doing monologues. One of our good friends they're doing Shakespeare one acts online, and getting a large audience with that. Create content and then put it out there. And I think the second part is once you put it out there is you got to let people know that it's there. So contact your family, your friends, your associates, your church leaders, your community leaders. Just say, hey, I'm doing this. Come check it out. And you'd be surprised that, especially now with how much people are going to really appreciate, what you have to say and your story.
Yeah, you want it to be organic, but you also want to be able to reach out and say, hey, I'm doing this. Do you mind sharing it? Because you never know that who's following who. to be able to share your content, and someone will want to come follow you and
will relate to you.
Yeah.
One thing, here's some wording that I learned that really is helpful for people who aren't comfortable asking for, hey, can you share my stuff? Ask for help. Ask for help. Usually anyone, educators, students, and parents, it's, hey, I have a new video. I'm getting it out there. I would love your help because I'm trying to do this, and I know, any little bit would help me. Are you willing to give me some help? Coming that way, most people want to help others. Most people do. Some people don't, and that's, and that's life. But most people, especially if they're your family, friends, who already have a relationship with you somehow, church leaders, community leaders, group leaders, they already have a relationship with you. So asking for help, most people will be happy to do it.
Yeah.
Most people. So try to use that. That's not really on our list today, but just a snippet of just ask for help. Yeah.
Ask for help. Even on your posts, in your story, ask for help. If there's something you're struggling with or you genuinely want to know about, ask. And then that's a way you get your community and the people who are following you to engage.
Right. It's one of the best ways, especially when you're just telling your story, and asking for help on feedback, asking for help to share, asking for help on what should I do next. You'd be amazed because giving them the choice to engage or to that their voice matters is one of the true engagement tools that we try to let people know. If you're out there trying to get everybody, maybe your goals aren't, we wouldn't say your goals are in place if you're trying to get everybody. It's like, who are you trying to find, who you're trying to engage with? And then those people will find you if you present the content. They will.
So tip number 2 is they have to like you.
Yeah.
And
we don't mean the Facebook like. We mean...
Yeah, they have to genuinely like you. And this is a hard one for people because not everyone's going to like you.
I think it's a mental health thing.
It is.
We've
been talking a lot about that. But if in all of our clients that we've had, every single one of them, for the most part, it's a mental block that they have to get through. They're trying to get everybody, and I'll be honest, I still struggle with this. I'm huge.
We both do.
Yeah. I want everybody to like me, and that's just not realistic.
No.
Because people don't always like the things I like or understand where my perspective is, even if I explain it. So you have to be okay with people not liking you, but...
And what gets you through that is knowing your why, because if you know why you're doing it and you have that inner peace of this is what I was, born to do, then when you hold on to that in those hard times, that is the key to getting through, the critics and people, and I guess that what they call them, trolls and all that type of stuff. That is what's going to get you through. Because, we've had clients, even ourselves, we've had trolls, we've had people, coming after us because they didn't like what we were doing, for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, when we see the results, and we'll get to that too, when you see the results of your work and your efforts, it really, I don't know, me and my vocabulary, it eclipses the challenges that tend to surface because you see, now I'm getting cheesy, because you see the light that you're shining on other people, and it's great. So take like that and
crackers.
So that was so cheesy. We needed crackers. Yes, go ahead.
It's just a little insight to our daily life.
So true, yeah.
So for me, I always recommend, to know you, we find that storytelling with the feel, felt, found, and then for figuring out what to talk about for people to like you for who you are, I call it my Disney reference, my Fab Five. And I'm not talking Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald.
Daisy.
No, Daisy's not a Fab Five.
Yeah.
Pluto,
my bad.
But
I should know after all these years.
But if you think about the 5 things that make up who you are, and or that you are interested in, and you can story tell about those things, and then on your online you can find communities about those things. Obviously, I'm a huge Disney person. The Fab Five, hello. So I find those
I should have known better. I feel bad. Go ahead.
So those I find those communities, or I use the hashtags online, or we've talked about my dog. She was a Boston Terrier, so I was in Boston Terrier groups, or I started following those pages because I genuinely wanted to know about those things. I love to dance, I love ballet, and I get in around those things. I'm also into the health and fitness industry.
Right.
So you get that, then you'll start attracting those types of people. Those are just some of my examples.
Perfect examples of I think that was a Fab Five too.
Was it?
Yeah.
So if you get in those things and can start storytelling about those things, one, I think that might have been 4. I don't know for sure, but the other one
AJ would tell us.
AJ would, is there aren't very many people who are in a marriage and working with their spouse.
Yes.
And so that isn't something else that I talk about.
Yeah, that we talk about. So not everybody's doing this. Yeah.
And it's hard. And so talking about, that and trying to find other people who are doing the same thing.
Right.
And cultivating stories around those things. And you don't have to do those. Obviously, pick what works for you.
But those are examples of how you can engage with people who have like interests or similar interests.
Yes, and then that's how they start to like you and want to know what
More.
you're talking about.
They get to know your stories, and if you notice, all of this is about. It starts with you and your why. What are you interested in? I had a. It was well, I'm not going to name any names. I'll just say this: we had a client a couple years ago, and I don't want to say anything too more. Anyway, long story short was, at the time, all he cared about was making money. That's all he cared about. And when we tried to, we took him through the courses and stuff, and he was a very successful sports figure. I'll just put it that way. He was. I gotta be careful. So, but all he cared about was making money. And what is your why? Make more money. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, please say there's nothing wrong with that, because obviously we are wanting to pay our bills. But when we dug deeper, he found some things in his life that were more meaningful than the finances. And it's funny, once he made that pivot and he focused on his why, he made more money in an organic way, because people, I guess, understood that he was really about that topic, and he made more money basically focusing on his why than him actually focusing on the money. So does that make sense? I know we've had many
entrepreneur, business owner friends who, when they shift their perspective off the finances, which I know we talk about here on how to create that wealth, because it is important. You have to pay your bills. But when you can shift your perspective into a deeper why than financial, the return on investment will come.
Right. It's just like you were saying, instead of going after the finance groups and how to basically expand this, you're going into Disney and health and fitness and stuff like that. And when people actually engage with you, it's an organic feel. They find out your story. They you get, and then from there, when they find out their story, then it's interesting, because all these companies start coming to you, or come to Sarah, myself as well, but come to Sarah going, hey, would you mind, we love what you're about, would you mind representing us, would you mind sharing your products or our products with your community, because they know there's a true interest there. And so I think being that authentic self and living and staying, we'll say it forever, but and knowing and understanding your why, will help with that and kind of keep you, and having a Fab Five, which I think is great, will kind of keep you focused because, all of us have more than maybe 5 things that we're interested, possibly, speaking for me. But if you can focus on those Fab Five, you'd be amazed at what the results you'll get.
And if you don't know, because I remember when I first started doing this, I was like, there aren't 5 things that are interesting about me. And that went back to that mental health. It was hard for me to...
You were in a rough place, too.
I was in a rough place. But I went to the people who knew me best. And I asked them. And some of the things... And then you're surprised about what some of the things people want, are interested in from you.
Yeah, it's interesting how... I'm going to bring back the conference that we were at this weekend. One of the things I find is... One of the questions we ask is what value do you bring to your brand, or what value do you bring to anything, to your family? It's amazing how many people shy away from, I'm not that valuable, or I can sew, but I really want to go back to the mental health of, what is truly your calling and what value are you bringing to your family, your organization, your business, your brand, and feeling confident about it.
Yeah.
And feeling truly confident about it. And I think working through that helps with all of this. Just getting into the right mind space, at least I know in my career, getting into the right mind space is paramount. And I think one of the things, it's a famous quote, but I love when you say it. It's if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. So it really kind of get that mental health into this can work, this can do it, and you'd be amazed at what opens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually I'm going to go to our third topic and piggyback off what you said, but having that confidence is also a way to lead into our last tip, which is creating trust. Right. And how you create trust is consistency. If you go back a couple podcasts ago, we talked about being consistent creates confidence.
Which then creates consistency. Yeah.
Consistency creates confidence and creates consistency?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I was going to say trust.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
I guess we got to get on the same page.
Yeah.
But
they're both right. No,
they're both right. Yes. But yeah, I mean, you're right. If you're consistent and you're confident, and then you'll just continue to be consistent.
And that
and then
builds
people really will trust you if you can just continue to show up and always be there, because that is where a lot of people are let down. I know I've had a lot of people who they show up for a minute. It goes back to what we were talking about, the real relationships. Mm-hmm. If you can show that you can be real and show up and be there, then the people who really want to be a part of your community will always be there, even when you might go through a rough time.
Especially when you go through a rough time. Yeah.
So
you find out who your real friends are.
Yeah, and it's the same thing about building a community.
Right.
I think the other part is the creating value for them, and when you put stuff out there and they try it and it works.
That trust is
getting
results. So to go back to, I'm going to go back because we skipped one thing on the like part. That's okay. No, once your community tends to like you, or is basically engaging with you, kind of use that word, more engaging rather than like, but engaging with you. One of the things you want to do is have a call to action. Ask them for something. Mm-hmm. Hey, so let's just use an example of, let's just use a singing video. Hey, I'm looking for work. I'm a singer, and I just recorded this new song that I did. I'd love for you guys to kind of take a look at it and let me know what you think. Mm-hmm. So right there was the create the content. And engage your community. Hey, what do you think? And that's kind of with your no. And then with the like part, hey, if they come back, we'd like to get a call to action. Hey, let me know what you think. What did you like? Am I sharp here? Am I flat here? Or is the song great for my voice, get that feedback from them, and they're going to provide value to you, but they're going to feel really good as well because their voice matters to you. You're asking what they think. And then as far as we go into trust, that is basically the result. It's like, maybe ask, hey, the next 100 people I'm going to, who give me a response, I'm going to tally that up and give you a quantitative result. And that's when I always say a quantitative result. Out of the 100 people, 80 people really loved the song, 20 people or 10 people thought it was okay, and 10 people said, hey, change it. And then from there, the last part is we'll get feedback on that. And see, they're engaging with you the entire time. Hey, 80 people love it, 10 people are kinda, and then 10 people are like, no. What do you think? What should I do? What are the suggestions? And then you repeat the process over and over again. And I didn't mean to jump. I just wanted to make sure we hit on it.
No, I jumped.
Yeah. So those are the ways that you can engage your community and create new ones. And it's organic. It's going to take a little bit of time if, we're in a microwave society, but, this is more like a stew. It's going to take a little while.
Good crock pot.
Yeah. Even if you have what I call it, an Instapot, it's going to still take some time. Yeah. So that was not an endorsement. But anyway, but I think at the end of the day, those relationships, nurture them, make them real, make them organic. They're going to last longer. You're going to get loyalty. And I think that's the last part that maybe is not on our list today, but is that trust. Once you build that trust, then you'll build loyalty. And with loyalty, that will then, spread. Hey, did you know I have this friend who does this? Hey, did you know I have this friend who had that same situation? Hey, did you know? Notice I'm saying I have that friend or I know that person. And that word of mouth is what's going to build. And the building of the word of mouth, I know, is what keeps people engaged and keeps them as a part of your community and keeps them engaging. And then, from there, for whatever reason, if it's education or the clothes you buy or the makeup or whatever, they'll engage with you because they're going to trust that you're not going to bring something to them that you're just trying to make money off of, that is actually, going to improve their quality of life.
Yeah. And, when you do these things, and again, this goes off of, we're highlighting social media or your online presence right now, but even in life, I was listening to some stories, and there's actors who they went into a restaurant and ran into a producer or director, and that they just had a slip of the mind, but ran into him and it was like, oh, I'm doing a movie. Right. I need you.
Right.
And they didn't have to audition because they had already built their character and their reputation, and they knew, they liked, and they trust them. Just slip their radar for a minute, and then you can pop back in by going to get dinner, right, and get a job. And the story I was listening to, it was like, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be anywhere. Like, if I hadn't gone to go get dinner that day, then my career would not be where it is today. Or
at least not look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, for instance, we're finally getting to shoot our TV pilot next summer, and then we're basically auditioning people for that. So if you guys are interested, go to the website and check that out. But same kind of thing. The DP was a friend of a friend, and we were taking all these people and then, trying to find all these people. And then it was like, oh yeah. So it's just, I didn't know you did that music video. Oh, are you the one who did? And then it was, creating a relationship. So it's really, I guess at the end of the day, you're another day older. I know it's coming. But it's, engaging yourself, get yourself out there, let people know you, and then let them know your story so that they can relate to you and they can get engaged with you. We say the word like here, but it's not about necessarily liking you, but it's basically being able to relate to your situation. And then from there, if you stay consistent, which will build your confidence, which will then get you consistent, which will then build trust. And then once they have trust, loyalty. And it does take some time. So if you're looking, hey, I want to, I've seen articles and I've seen advertisements on social media, get 1,000 new Instagram followers in 30 days. And I go, let's put it this way. It's not that it doesn't work. It just doesn't last.
Yeah.
It just doesn't last. Or you may have, like we have one of our clients, 100,000 followers, but only, not in her case, but you may have 100,000 followers, but only 10,000 who actually talk to you or engage with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I would rather have a lower number of followers and a higher
engagement percentage,
engagement. And because he's right, you could have 1 million followers, but how many of them are actually seeing your content and engaging and commenting and,
and being affected? I mean, is their life getting better because they're seeing your content?
Yeah.
Or in some cases, we've seen people out there, it's just, hey, it's another product that you can buy from my line. And I guess we know there's commerce involved, and of course that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But when people feel that the services, products that you are talking about can actually improve their lives, they will buy. Yeah. And it's not, it's not a bait and switch. It's not buy my product. It's, this is who I am. This helps me further my lifestyle and further my mental health and furthers my career. You may want to try it too. Mm-hmm. And that is the organic stuff we're talking about. So engaging that. So I guess, before we wrap up, just want to let you guys know, we're having this community growth challenge. You can go to adamsdavy.com/access, or just go to industryaccess.com and you can see more about that. We're giving away prizes to a couple of prizes to kind of help people even increase their brand value, for just taking the challenge on their own. It's not hard. It's just, you just have to stay consistent.
Yeah, it's November of 2020.
Right.
Just in case you're listening to this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So the deadline for that challenge is ending
December 5th.
December 5th.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a Saturday.
Yep.
So December 5th, 2020, just for frame of reference. But these tips will help you moving forward with anything. So anything else you want to say to wrap it up?
Honestly, just, I'll say it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Discovering your why will pretty much help everything moving forward. It's the core of what, at least for me, it was the core to the direction I was going to follow. It was the core to the people I was going to work with. It was the core to the type of projects I would take or I wouldn't take. It is the key to, I think, my success in this business, financially and creatively. And I think holding on to your why, knowing what your what is, it'll basically take you to any how. That's kind of one of the quotes I'd like to say at the end. And when you know your why, you can outlast any how. In other words, the trends will move, the trends will go up. It'll be this one day, just with everything going on with the new normal. Those things will change, but your why won't. That's it. That's what I want to say.
I think it's great.
What about you? What's your last words?
For me, I am not a natural salesperson, so I know that for some people this may sound icky because it may feel like you're having to talk about yourself. But if you go back to your why and what you want, and you really talk from a place of helping people and just putting yourself out there be a little bit vulnerable, you'll be surprised at the community and the support that you actually will find in doing so. And so if just don't think about it as selling yourself. That sounds awful.
Yeah, I mean, but some people, I don't want to sell that or do that. It's not about that. It's about telling your story and providing your value. And yeah, I didn't mean to step on that, but I was just trying to help.
Well, because I was going off the deep end there. But I just, for me, that was always the hardest part. And don't sell. You're not selling. You're talking about your experience and wanting to help people, or you're asking for help, and all of those things. And then when you do say, hey guys, I've got this thing, can you help me? Or, hey guys, I've got this thing, it's helped me, I mean, do you want it to help you? Those types of things. And or just put yourself out there and show that you're taking care of yourself and doing things, and then directors, producers, choreographers will think about you. I know that, you know, we look on social media to see what people are doing, and they can find you, hashtags, all of, you know, locations, all of that. So don't worry about feeling salesy or talking about yourself all the time.
Yeah. And then one thing, you know, because there's a difference between confidence and conceit. And when you're out there talking about your stuff and your story, there should be a confidence about it. I went through this. I felt, you know, like you said, I was feeling this. And now that I've gone through it, I realized I felt that. And now I'm feeling this. And because I'm doing that, you know, I was able to, you know, I found a new way to do things, or I found a new way to act, or found a new way to explore my skills, or whatever that may be. That is about, you know, just confidence in what you've gone through versus conceit, which is normally about everybody else. Or I'm better than, or I'm taller than, or I'm prettier than, or I'm. And once you get into that, it's just a road that kind of takes you off the deep end. And unfortunately, you know, I know that firsthand when I was younger. It was like it was all about me, and that didn't last long. So, but you know. Thank you for listening. Thank you for you know, giving us the feedback. We'd love to hear more. Please comment, like, share. If you find this information could be useful.
Screenshot and tag us that you're listening. We want to see all of that. Go find. In a couple weeks, probably, we'll be putting up a post about getting some questions for our Q&A.
Q&A, right.
We got another spotlight coming next week.
Yep.
So
I'm excited
about that. And I think we mentioned it in our last podcast, but I always want to mention it here. If there's people or types of genres, dancers, producers, directors that you're wanting to hear from, we're wanting to bring some guests in.
Right,
so we've got a few connections that we can bring those people in and highlight what we're talking about, or interview for our spotlight.
So just like we said, using our own words, we'd love your help.
We would love your help. So let us know what you want to hear from us, and till then, I think we'll see you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my name's Tony.
I'm Sarah.
And until then, engage your passion.